Okay, in this section, we're going to continue graphing linear inequalities, and we're just going to have systems of the linear inequalities. So that means we're going to have two lines that we graph. The solution this time of the system will be where their shading overlaps. So I'll be shading both the inequalities, and what I will do on the screen is I'll use two different colored highlighters, and then where the two highlighter colors meet is where the actual system solution is. Again, remember that you will use a solid line if you have a less than or equal to or greater than or equal to, and you're using a dotted line if it's less than or greater than. The shading, you can test the point above or below, or you can shade as long as it's a y equation, so as long as it says y is greater than or y is less than or y is greater than or equal to or y is less than or equal to, you can look at that and decide whether you shade above or below the line. So you shade above the line for greater than and below the line for less than, or you can test the point. So here's one system of inequalities. I'm going to graph both of them, and I'll use a different color pen for each one of them. So this one has my slope being -1, that'd be over 1, and my b value is 2. So I'll plot b, my y-intercept, and then I'll rise -1, and I'll run 1. Rise 1. I'm not really rising, I'm falling 1. You can see that negative slope, and I'll do that a few times. I'm going to be using a solid line, and then I will be shading above the graph here for my solution. So I'm shading above the graph. Okay, and I'll go ahead and highlight this one. This is the first line. The second line I'll do in green. It has a slope of -1/2 and a b value of 4. I'm going to plot the 4. I'm going to go down 1 to the right 2, down 1 to the right 2, or I could go up 1 to the left 2. This is a dotted line because it just says less than. And again, because it's less than, I will be shading below the line. So remember, my actual solution is where the two shadings overlap. So in this case, it actually turns it to green. So I'm going to write that off to the side. The solution is the green section. That's where the two shadings overlap. On the next problem here, I would need to solve for y on the second problem. So I'll go ahead and do that because I like to have it in y equals mx plus b form. So I'll add 2x to both sides. And so I get 2x plus 0, which I don't have to write. Divide by -4, so I get y is less than or equal to, I remembered to flip the sign this time, -1/2 x. You can put plus 0, but not necessary. So that means the slope of this line is -1/2, and your b value is 0. So I'll plot 0. I'll go down 1 to the right 2, down 1 to the right 2, down 1 to the right 2. I will use a solid line, and I'll be shading below that line. That is less than. Alright, the second equation has a slope, or the first one I actually should say, has a slope of 1 and a b value of 3. So I'll plot my b value. I'll go up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. I know I'm going to be using a dotted line this time. And this time again I'm shading below the graph. So because I'm using that yellow highlighter again, it's going to be where the two lines turn green is my actual solution, or where the sections turn to green. So I didn't actually fill in all this part down here, but all that would also be a solution. So I'll fill that in. And I'll put green is solution to system. All Alright, so on this next problem, I've got two more linear equations. This first one has a slope of 5, and the second one has a b value of 0. So the slope is 5 over 1, my b is 0. So I'll plot 0. I'll go up 5 and over 1, up 5 and over 1, or I can go down 5 to the left 1, down 5 to the left 1. This is a dotted line, and it's less than, so I'm going to shade below. This other problem right here is a horizontal line. It says that y is always 0. So if we look at a t-chart, it says y is always 0. X can be whatever you want it to be, but y is always 0. So let me go ahead and change that to blue. 1, 0, 2, 0, 3, 0, 4, 0. Y is always 0. It's a solid line. And what it says is, where is y greater than 0? All of these values are greater than 0. These would be less than, so I'll be shading above the line. So the solution to this system, again, is this section right here, the green section. This is the solution to the system, this section. On the next one here, again, we got two lines, and we will just plot those using slope-intercept form. So this one has a slope of 1 and a b of negative 3, so I'll be going up 1 over 1. So I plot my negative 3 on my y-axis, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. This is a solid line, and it's less than, so I'll be shading below the graph. On the next one here, I would be having y equals 1 and a b is 2. So I get up 1 over 1, so a b is 2. Up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. Well, this is a dotted line. Well, I've got two parallel lines, so what I'm going to do then is I'm going to shade, because it says above, I'm going to shade above the line. I missed a little bit, went below there, so ignore that, a little bit below. But what you notice is that they never overlap each other, so there's no green section. So this actually has no solution. There is nowhere where the two shadings overlap, so there is no solution. On this last one, what we're going to do is we're going to write the system of inequalities. So I'm going to start with the dotted line first. This dotted line, it's shaded below, so I'd have y is less than. Y is less than, my y-intercept is 3. And then I'd go down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1. So what I'm doing is down 1 is negative 1, to the right 1 is 1. And then I'd put an x and a plus sign with it. So really what this system is negative x plus 3. So this is one of my solutions. The other one I'm going to look at is this up and down horizontal line. Well, that is an x equals equation, and if you don't remember that, you don't have to. You can just look at each part. This is 2, 1, or 2, 0, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3. So every time I'm saying that, notice what's staying the same is the x value. So you'd say that x is 2. Well, we're going to use a greater than, because all these numbers are greater than 2, and we're going to use an equal to sign underneath it because of the solid line. So my system of inequalities would be my two circled inequalities that I've written there.